What's happening, Hardscapers? This is episode 232 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on marketing for this year, what I did, what worked, and then going into next year, as it does seem a lot of feedback that I'm getting things are slowing down. What are you doing to get leads and so on there? So I'll talk a little bit about that in today's episode. But before we get into it, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cycle CPA. If you need bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for $200 off their services there. And if you're looking to get into a software over this winter, look at How to Hardscape Headquarters software. This is all part of our membership package at members.howtohardscape.com, which includes access to our course content library there, which includes 4 installation courses, including installation of interlocking concrete pavement and segmental retaining walls. Each of those also has a test at the end with a certificate. Those are 3-hour courses each, and you can use them to be able to assign them to your employees as well. And the headquarters software includes budgeting, estimating, job costing, time tracking, scheduling, and we're working on a lot more things, including being able to create some sort of point structure, point system for your employees for clocking in at the right time, remembering to clock out, completing courses, and we're going to be incorporating more safety training videos and much more courses in the near future here. So we're trying to create an encompassing software to help you streamline processes in your business with it, as well as workshops throughout the winter. So if you're looking to get in on it now, we will be running workshops throughout December and into January, which includes workshops on installation, interlocking concrete pavement installation, segmental retaining wall installation in December, budgeting and estimating, so you'll have access to the software. So we will run you through how we budget and estimate, as well as website creation and SEO, search engine optimization, in January. So if any of these workshops interest you, make sure you become a member at members.howtohardscape.com or shoot me a message on Instagram at howtohardscape to learn more about the software and everything that we've got going on in this membership platform. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So as I mentioned, this is a marketing episode, and I'm going to just talk to you about the things that I've been doing personally to work on my business through the marketing and branding lens and how it's helped me in my business, as well as things I'm planning to do in the near future here as we start to ramp up marketing for next season. So we'll start that around March or as soon as the snow melts. But I just want to put my effort now into putting these marketing materials together while I've got a bunch of things on the go in the meantime. So what we did throughout this time, these past 2 to 3 years, where we experienced a lot of demand, is we didn't take our eye off of the overall package of branding and marketing in general. So I know a lot of people got very much carried away with the demand that came in and wanting to satisfy that demand and not wanting to put time into their marketing or their overall branding of their business online, more so to bring in more and more leads, because you're already satisfied with the leads that are coming in. And it's easy to not look to the future, where obviously with the demand that we hit, the demand in the future is going to be less. There's going to be a correction, and then we'll get back to a point of normalcy that we've experienced in this industry. But it's important, and I talked with so many people during these past few years that said, you know what, we're not going to focus on our website, or we're not going to create a new channel. We're just going to work and satisfy this demand, and we'll worry about marketing if we need to market. And that puts you immediately behind the 8 ball with this, because SEO takes time. It takes at least 6 months, in my experience, for that to catch up. If you decide to use it to start a YouTube channel, that takes a minimum a year to actually get that ball rolling, and that's if you're consistent with it as well. And there's just all these marketing methods and channels that you can use that are not paid for. Take time. Either it takes your money or it takes your time. And you need to, sometimes both, but you need to be able to look to the future and plan for these things in advance rather than hitting a point in time where you're slow and you need the leads. At that point in time, what you need to do is then pay for those leads and pay lots and lots of money, because if you're slow, chances are other people are slow, and then they're going to get into paid leads, and then that's going to jack the price up of those paid leads, because those are cost per acquisition. Those are everybody based on a bidding process. If everybody's bidding on it, that's going to create a demand spike, and the supply will stay the same, which means the prices of these ads are going to go more and more expensive. But not to mention, you can focus on these marketing materials and incorporate them into your business somehow. And I'll talk to you about why I made the decisions that I did and where I implemented them in my business to look a little bit more professional, as well as to inform my clients a little bit more, and so on here. But the reason why I'm doing this episode is because throughout probably the last 3 to 6 months, and definitely more so recently, I've had more and more people reach out to me on Instagram and ask me what I'm doing to get more leads. And for those of you that have reached out to me, just know that you're definitely not alone. And the people that I've talked to in person have said the same thing. Leads are drying up. So I think this is a timely subject, being that, at least for me, we're going into the winter. I have a little bit more time on my hands in the office, and I'm going to double down on some of the things that I've worked on the past few years. And with that being said, first and foremost, online website, that's obvious. Have a good functioning website. These days for SEO, it's all about speed. If you don't know how to get your website faster, reach out to a professional for that. Have them work on your website to get that speed up. It's all about creating a better user experience, and Google's going to reward you, or these search engines are going to reward you for giving a good customer experience. So if that person clicks on your website from Google and it takes 5 seconds to load up your website, that's probably enough in nowadays for them to just immediately go back into those search engine results, because it's not loading fast enough and they don't think that it's going to load up. So get that website speed below a good threshold, at least 2 seconds load time. Make sure it's mobile friendly. So check it on your desktop, check it on your mobile. Is it loading up nicely? Is it loading up fast? Are things out of line when it loads up on your mobile? If so, you need to invest into a mobile responsive website. That means that it's going to load up, it's going to look nicely. The images aren't going to be scattered everywhere. It's not going to look messy. It should load up nicely on your mobile, just as it loads up nicely on a desktop. If you Google Page Speed Insights, something like that, there is a website there that allows you to input your URL, so your company website, and be able to see what is right and what is wrong with your website. So it's going to give you a bunch of insights as to page speed load time and what's causing your page speed load time to be so high, or if you're doing good things, why it's so low. It's going to give you a score out of 100 for desktop as well as mobile. So that's a good starting point to help you get your website back on track if you think that it is not where it should be. User experience is also a good thing to focus on. So for us, for our websites, we look for a quote now button immediately at the top bar, and that follows the user as they scroll down the website if they're looking at anything, as well as our phone number that they can click and it'll load in their phone to be able to call us immediately. So those two things. Now, during the past few years, when you maybe wanted to be able to pre-qualify your clients, get them weeded out a little bit more, maybe you wanted to not have that quote now button immediately visible to them. But nowadays, if your leads are drying up, make that as visible as possible with your phone number. And as they scroll down your website, make sure that that header bar where it has your quote now button along with your phone number, make sure it follows them as they scroll down your website. I put a quote now sheet on every page as well. So if they go to my testimonials, if they go to my services, any service page, at the very bottom is always a quote form. So a contact form for them to contact us. That way they don't have to click more times to get anywhere. Everything they need is visible and easy for them to find. That means my services are nicely organized as well. Make sure you have a page for each of your services as well, which is a good thing to have. And also have a page for each of your locations that you service. Make sure those pages are in place. Have your locations at the very bottom in a footer. That's helpful, and they can click on these different locations that you service to be able to find more. All those pages are doing are not only letting your clients know what services and what locations you service, but also it's telling Google where you want to be placed. When somebody searches city landscaping services or city hardscape or city patio ceiling, city lift and relay, or paver maintenance, or fix my pavers, whatever those keywords are that your clients, your potential clients are searching, you're just telling Google that you do those services and you do them in that specific city or area. So that's always a good thing to have pages for each of your cities, or locations that you service, and pages for each of your services. And I could go on and on about SEO, but those are the basics to get into. Like I said, page speed, user experience, service pages, location pages. Get those loading properly, loading right, and do not fully rely on ChatGPT or these large language models that you just give them a prompt and they give you an answer and you try to copy and paste that into your website. There's still a lot of copyright infringement that these models could be infringing on, and we don't quite know yet where this is going to take us and what kind of lawsuits are going to come down the pipeline with using these things. Their responses come from somewhere. So you always have to figure that into it. So use it as a starting point, but make sure that you put your own spin on whatever it spits out for you, because whatever it spits out for you just immediately has come from somewhere. And it's been refined and it's taken other sources. But just remember that you should not fully rely on these large language models to give you everything that you need for your website, for written content, or anything like that. In this winter, I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into my personal website. I have slacked on that quite a bit. I had a nice back and forth with Joe. Joe, if you're listening, thank you so much for talking to me about SEO. Personally, I also incorporate my Google My Business page into search engine optimization, or SEO. So if you do not have a Google My Business, get a Google My Business listing going. It's free. They send you a postcard to your business address, whatever you use as your business address, to verify that you are who you say you are. It has a code on it. You just input the code and you have your Google My Business listing. Make sure you add photos. Make sure you post frequently, at least once a week on it. And first and foremost, besides having your company information, your business hours, and so on there, make sure that you get reviews. This is something that I'm going to very much focus on this winter, is I'm going to follow up with all of my clients and all the ones that I know will give me a 5-star review. They just haven't, because it's not, it's a friction process. We want to take that friction out of the process. So we're going to be sending them direct links to leave a written review for our business. And any client that we know will give us a 5-star review, we will include that link as we follow up with them. But also, you never know what more work will come down from those particular happy clients, whether it's more work that they want done. Maybe you've serviced them 3 years ago, more work that they want done on their project to expand it further, or they want to do the front yard, or you just pop into their mind and a friend of theirs was asking or mentioning that they were doing landscaping, or a colleague, and now you're top of mind with them, and now they want to refer you to somebody that just talked about landscaping with them. That's always good to do as well. So We're going to be focusing on those reviews in the winter, as well as my SEO on my website, and something that I put some effort into these past few years, but not enough. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on this winter, as I said there. But the one thing that I really wanted to get going these past couple of years, and I did focus on, was my YouTube channel. So I Am a Hardscaper is where I decided to put my YouTube channel. I didn't make it Ever After Landscaping, my landscaping business. I didn't make it How to Hardscape because that's more community centered, like this podcast, like our Instagram page. So I made it I Am a Hardscaper. And the reason why I didn't make it my landscaping business was in the future I could always make another one about landscaping and or my business in general, and highlighting maybe my employees when I do have them, and highlighting my business a little bit more, have it be a little bit more polished. Whereas I'm a Hardscaper, I wanted to tailor it both to the homeowner as well as a starting contractor. So it's very much education based. That's what I decided to go, the route that I decided to go down. I didn't decide to go like more entertainment based or entertainment education. I went education based. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to create a bank of resources for my YouTube channel where I can reference whenever somebody has a question about something, whether it's somebody reaching out to me on How to Hardscape or I'm a Hardscaper somewhere, or if it's a proposal that I'm sending out to a client. I have a video on everything. And everything from segmental retaining wall installation, interlocking concrete pavement installation, how I prepare a base, how deep I prepare a base, literally every single aspect of any project I highlight on a specific video. And I've got a bank of these videos that I incorporate links into my proposals when I send them out to clients. So that clients, when they get that proposal, they click on the video, they see me on that video, they see, and even though this is all about building authority, they see the views, they see the comments as positive, they see the subscriber count, they see a little bit more authority. And that's what I wanted to build these couple of years, is to create that authority in the YouTube space. Not that like I'm an authoritative person, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying from the homeowner's eyes, to be able to see that it's not just somebody with a couple of subscribers putting videos out there, and they're not polished videos and so on and so forth. I did spend a lot of time on this so that I could create a resource for the homeowners to take a look at and to be put at ease that they have somebody who is passionate about what they talk about, as well as they know what they're talking about in some sense. And so, for example, if I'm sending out a proposal for a patio that I'm going to build on a synthetic base product or on open graded base, I have my process for building patios. I have a video specifically on that. I have a video specifically on how to install synthetic base and the benefits of it. I have a video specifically on open grade base and the benefits of it as well. So that especially if we get into a time where demand is low and we're all trying to get these specific projects, they have something that's extremely thorough in this proposal, and they know exactly what they're going to get. All my proposals are thorough using the How to Hardscape headquarters software. Just a quick plug here. You can have automated work scopes. So for example, whenever you create a production rate, and that production rate is pavers, and I'm building a patio as a work area, and I choose that production rate pavers, the pavers work scope will show up in your proposal automatically. And you can edit that at the proposal, but basically in my pavers production group, I have a written out work scope. How deep I dig, what base material I use. It's got my YouTube links in it, and so on and so forth, so that I'm not writing this out every single time I do a proposal. I just estimate my materials, my labor, everything else is done for me with the software. So that's why I went the YouTube route to input it into my proposals, as well as it's just a resource that's always there. Like this information that I put out there on this YouTube channel is not going to be going away anytime soon. This is what we call evergreen content. It's always going to be applicable. So I only need to make that video once. I don't need to revisit it at any point in time. And that's the decision I made with the YouTube channel. Now I could have doubled down on my Instagram and gone the Instagram route, but I wanted to, with YouTube, it's a lot easier to incorporate YouTube links, as well as YouTube is searchable. Instagram is not as searchable friendly. So YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. YouTube's also owned by Google. And with my How to Hardscape website and the resources that I created in there, and a lot of those articles showing up high in Google search results, that's why I went YouTube as opposed to doubling down on Instagram, because Instagram has a shorter lifespan for each post that you put out, whereas YouTube, I still have videos that I posted within my first week of starting it. That was back in 2021, I think, and they're still getting hundreds of views every day or so. So that is why I went the YouTube route. Not to mention, at least in Canada, we're not monetized on Instagram, but YouTube monetized everywhere. So I can even earn a little bit of money for advertising my business on top of that on YouTube. So I highly suggest, if you have not started a YouTube channel, at the very least, if you are not planning to try to build a YouTube channel in any sense, at least create some sort of resources for your business in a YouTube channel that you can reference using your actual proposals that you send out. The more thorough that you can be on your proposals, the better for your clients, especially if you're going to be bidding against a bunch of other landscapers. So systematize that proposal making process so you're not always having to write it out, as well as have an additional resource incorporated into those proposals besides just that written form content. More and more people are relying on and wanting video. So that's the reason why I went the YouTube route, and why and how it has helped me in my business. I've had multiple people that I've sent proposals out to with these videos linked, where they have thanked me for the videos and said the reason why we went with you is because we really liked that you incorporated those videos. So I know this works, and I know that if you are getting to a point where leads are not coming in as much as they used to, that this is going to help you when you do get those leads, when you do put an estimate together and put that out there to those clients. And those are the clients that you want. Those are the clients that you're looking for, the clients that appreciate your quality, your hard work, and your thought and your effort that go into those proposals. I just want to take a break from today's episode to talk about our sponsor, Cycle CPA. You may have a CRM or project management software in place, but what data are you using to ensure your estimating is accurate? Having a proper accounting setup and accurate bookkeeping done is key to understanding overhead expenses and other costs that must be recouped in your estimates. Cycle CPA is a remote bookkeeping and CFO firm that helps to connect the dots from the financial reports to the hardscape and landscape data needed in order to reach high profits. They provide landscape and hardscape industry benchmarking, job costing financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA's team of accountants are specialized within the hardscape and landscape industry, and you can visit them at cyclecpa.com, and for $200 off, mention the How to Hardscape podcast. Now back to our episode. That being said, I'm going to be doubling down a little bit more on my Instagram this year and hoping to build my Instagram up a little bit more. I'm not talking about How to Hardscape. I'm talking about I Am a Hardscaper or my Ever After Landscaping. Probably my I Am a Hardscaper for this to keep that a little bit more consistent. And the reason why I'm doing that and my decision for this, not to say I'm not going as hard for YouTube. I'd say YouTube, I'm going to focus less on educational content and now start to transition to more entertainment educational based, because I think I've created enough of the education based content there as much as I'd like to. Now I want to just put my personality out there a little bit more and have something that's I'm not trying to figure out what's my next video going to be, what's the topic going to be. Rather, it's going to be more so a day in the life, sort of, so to speak, for my YouTube videos moving forward here. But one thing I've noticed, like I said, YouTube is a search engine, and if a client is searching on how to do a specific project, so for example, a paver project, before they reach out to landscapers or during that process, they are either a DIY client, or they could be a very particular client, or they could just be a very informed client. And I think more and more people with these resources and this content out there, with so much of this information out there, I think we'll see more and more of those clients being more and more informed, because they've grown up in this day and age of having all these resources at the top of their finger. But I don't want to say problem, but the one thing that I've noticed is those DIY clients could be a little bit more on the less expensive or less willing to part with their money side of things, or the wanting to be informed client or the researcher could be very, very picky. And I have experienced both of those clients, and we do have, at least for the DIY client, we do have a paid resource for them in terms of consultation and making sure and helping that they with them with their project and making sure that I'm available to them. So we do have that paid structure within our business anyways, but it's that other client that you want to be a little bit wary of when it comes to YouTube. However, with Instagram, it's more so highlighting your business, as opposed to, you can make educational content on Instagram for sure, but it gets buried after a little bit while. It doesn't have the legs that it would have on YouTube. So I do think Instagram is a better branding play long term, and that's why I think I'm going to put a little bit more effort into Instagram and see how that goes. Now, I don't want to get carried away in the follower numbers for Instagram, because that's easy to do. More so, I'm looking for the right followers on Instagram. So when you see me putting a little bit more effort into that, it's always, and same with YouTube, like that follower number is good to a certain point. After a certain point, it just becomes bloat, and you don't quite know whether or not these are the right followers for what you want in your business. It just becomes a number that is more so a general audience that's finding your content and is not in your specific area or is not other contractors. So that's always something that I'm trying to keep an eye on, at least for my followers there. Other than that, my YouTube videos, I'm just going to be posting to my Facebook page, and I'm not going to put too much time into Facebook. My LinkedIn, I never really got into LinkedIn. I'd say if you're looking to build relationships B2B, business to business, so for example, reaching out to builders or other contractors to get work from and so on, I would say LinkedIn, double down on that. They've got a great search feature there to find people in your area, to find people with the business and business titles that you're looking for. So LinkedIn's a very easy resource to tap into if you're looking for that B2B as opposed to B2C, business to client base or customers, those being the homeowners in our case. But then it comes down to paid ads, and I always do paid ads, whether it's just a little tiny bit a month that I put into paid ads just to have ads out there and touching people, and maybe they will recognize whether it's my face or my business logo or my business name. I just always want that going, and it's always a video that I put out there. I find that video content performs a lot better than you should never do just written. It should at least have a photo with it. And the way I'm going to be doing paid ads, at least for Facebook, and if you don't know Facebook targeting, Google Ads targeting, I would learn that. There's free resources out there. It's very easy to learn very quickly. And what I'm going to be doing next year is I've already filmed these videos. I just need to edit them. But because I service such a large area, multiple different cities, I have different cities that I can stay right to the camera hey city name, or hey resident of city name. That way they know that it's not just another ad. It's something that I've seen people do in the online space for various things, and they target that specific audience. So for that city that I say in the video, I'm going to target only that city. And you could do this for region as well, region of a city, and just target that region of the city, and so on. So I'm just going to, it's a video. I've filmed multiple different ones of these for each of the cities that I service, and it's just, hey, resident of city name, or hey, homeowners of city name. And then I just go in talking about our business and what types of services that we offer. With that script or whatever I say there, I try to aim more so for that emotional feel. So talking about them enjoying their space, hitting on some pain points, like, is your yard like a swamp, or is it unusable and you're trying to put a table out there and it's not sitting properly and you're falling out of your chairs. Like, these types of pain points I try to hit on these videos. Anything else that you can come up with that, you know, this client doesn't have a outdoor living space, or if you're targeting people that in a specific area, when you drive by and you see driveway after driveway that requires a lift and relay, and you can create a video around, hey, specific city homeowners, does your driveway look like this? And actually point to a driveway that's rutted or there's weeds growing out of it. And you're hitting on that pain point from them immediately. And then you offer your service in that video. And then once you have enough of those regions or those areas in your city that have those driveways that need lift and relays, you can then find their postal code, and then you can target those postal codes. So that's another way that you can go about Facebook ads, and what I'm planning to do next year for Facebook ads. So just to reiterate that, I in the video, I immediately, first sentence, I say, hey, hi to that city homeowner. And then I target pain points, and then I talk about solutions, how we solve their pain points. And like I said, lots of different things, and you get very creative with this in terms of finding different areas in your city that have had projects done at the same time, because once somebody gets their driveway done, then other driveways on that same region or same street then get their driveways done, whether it's a year later or so on. And whenever it's 10, 15 years down the road and they start to show signs of wear and tear, you can then sign them up to have their driveway lift and relayed, or upsell them into a new driveway for that. As far as Google ads are concerned, it's another thing that you can put your money into, but I more so tailor my marketing to my strengths. I believe I've got a strength with video editing and putting these videos together the way I want them to, and capturing people's attention immediately, because it does have to be immediately, otherwise they'll just keep scrolling. That is what I'm tailoring my marketing message to. Now, I'll still put a little bit of money into Google ads, so that if somebody searches a certain search phrase, and this is getting more into keyword research, which ties back to SEO, I'll also spend a little bit of money on Google ads as well. And then finally, if you are really struggling for leads and you don't have the money or the time, because money for these paid ads and time for building your website, getting the SEO right, and so on and so forth, and then 6 months later it starts to maybe pay off for you, or the YouTube channel, and a year later you're waiting for that. If you need immediate results and you've got no money, then it's about going door to door, targeting a specific area in your city that you service, going door to door, maybe not this time of year, but once that snow starts to melt in the spring, having good marketing materials, print marketing materials, or an iPad of some sort, a tablet of some sort with your work that you can show them. I've done that once when I was first starting out before. It takes a certain type of person to do it, that's for sure. I don't think I'm cut out for door to door, though I would if push came to shove, for sure. But one thing that has worked for me in the past is reaching out to those businesses in my area that I service that offer complementary services to mine. That can be anything specifically to concrete contractors, people who pour concrete that don't do pavers. So in our area, you can do your driveway in one material, but if you want a driveway extension, it can't be that same material. So people will do like a poured concrete and then they'll do pavers, or they'll do asphalt and then they'll do pavers. And then sometimes those concrete contractors, sometimes those asphalt contractors won't do pavers. So they'll find somebody to do that. And I want to be top of mind to these contractors. So I send them an email, I give them a phone call, I show up at their office with a little treat, and I just introduce myself. And this has worked in my first year of my business, and it worked excellently. And I recommend that if you are short on work, you find these complimentary contractors that may use your services. You can even expand that a little bit more and reach out to lawn care professionals, landscapers, softscapers. You can reach out to other like window cleaning, pressure washing companies, and so on. Anybody that services a homeowner. And then you get in with them and they service the same client that you are looking for, that homeowner. And that is a way to get leads from them. And once again, it would be nice for you to be able to give them leads in some way or another. Also, in my first year, I knew that I only wanted to target the smaller clients, those lift and relay clients. So I reached out to other contractors in my industry, so hardscapers, that only service the larger clients. And I said, hey, I'm not looking for those larger clients. I'm looking for those smaller clients, likely the smaller clients that you're not willing to actually do work for. And I say, would you be willing to give me those clients? Any leads that come in for me that are larger projects that I don't want to tackle, I'll hand them off to you. And I made a few relationships like that, and that really paid off for me as well. It's really easy to get carried away in your business, and I myself am at fault for this in some areas of my business, where you just get so busy as an owner operator and you stop investing into these other areas of your business that won't pay dividends immediately, but over the long term they will. And these are things that if you put a little bit of an investment here and there, and especially in the winters, if you're not as busy, or those time periods during the season where you're not as busy, if you put a little bit of effort, a little bit of research, a little bit of time into these things, they will start to pay dividends much later. And it's harder to look into the future 3 years down the line and to say, the consistent hard work that I'm going to put in right now is going to start to pay off 3 years down the line. But I need to remain consistent with these things. My YouTube channel, my SEO on my website, creating blog posts on my website that are consistent, and making sure that Google knows that I'm keeping up with my website. I'm constantly updating my website to making sure that I'm relevant. My Google My Listings, posting on there, and making sure that I post photos frequently, my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my getting reviews. There's so many things that can go easily overlooked, and I totally can understand and empathize with that. I too myself have dropped the ball on things in my business, but one thing that I knew I didn't want to drop the ball on was planning for this time, if this time does come, of this correction of the demand that we've experienced these past few years. Because it's never a matter of if it will happen, it's always a matter of when. There's definitely going to be a correction. None of us know how long it's going to be or take, but I want to be prepared in my business for the worst. I want to be prepared in my business that I don't have to pay for marketing, that my marketing channels, and in YouTube sense, pay me to market my business, and I get leads that way. Or my Instagram, even though it doesn't pay me, it's going to bring leads into my business, and it's just a matter of me investing my time over a long period of time, stretching that time investment out to be able to get to a certain point where I'm getting leads from my Instagram. All these things will give you a competitive advantage over the larger companies or the companies just starting out, everybody in your market that you won't have to pay for leads coming into your business. Or if you do, it's a much smaller amount compared to these other guys. And then count that into also them having a higher overhead than you maybe do. And that's a competitive advantage because you can slip into those smaller projects a lot less expensive and still be much more profitable for those types of projects. So all of these sort of compound on one another to help you in the event of a downturn in the economy. And with How to Hardscape and the members platform, the How to Hardscape headquarters included into that, I'm just trying to tackle all of these things, and we'll have workshops on these things during this winter. So if you are interested in any of these workshops, whether you want to learn a new skill or work on your website, your SEO, we're going to have a review, Google My Listings review challenge this winter as well. So stay tuned for that if you already are a member, as well as we're going to start a book club that I've been wanting to start for some time now, where maybe once a quarter we'll read a book on our own time, obviously not together, and then come together and talk about it. And hopefully I'll be able to get the author on a live stream to be able to talk deeper into their books. So for example, I do want to kick that off with Greg Crabtree's Simple Numbers and Simple Numbers 2.0. That would probably be the first book, and would have Greg Crabtree on a stream with our members to be able to talk further, answer our questions if we have any. That's the route that we're going to be going with the book club. Like I said, members only platform has courses. We've got interlocking concrete pavement, segmental retaining walls. We've got hardscape light installation, gas fire feature installation. We've got a course on budgeting, estimating, and knowing your numbers. That's 7 courses right there. I think it's like 14 hours worth of course content. And you can use those courses to assign to your employees as well. I'm going to be using them as training, onboarding. That's the reason why I created these courses, was because the employees that I've had in the past, they have their exit interviews. Almost all of them has said, I wish I knew a little bit more about the industry before I started with your business. So I had some sort of understanding of what I was getting into. That's why I created these courses, not only for the hardscapers just starting out, maybe wanting to go through a course, but because I wanted to assign them to my employees for training and onboarding. And we're going to continue to roll out more and more courses in this course content library, which you've got a lot to look forward to with that. I'm focusing on training resources, safety training resources, and then we're going to slowly get into things like sales training with outside experts, leadership training with outside experts, putting those courses together so that you can maybe level up somebody from an installer to a foreman because they need those leadership skills. You assign them the leadership course, and so on and so forth there. Like I said, this also comes with the How to Hardscape headquarters software as well. So you have a budgeting, estimating, job costing, being able to schedule projects, being able to time track. All of this is in the software, and as we add more features to the software, the pricing, and as we add more courses to the course content library, the pricing for this is going to continuously increase. But once you sign up, you're locked in on that pricing. As we add more features, as we add more courses, the pricing for that will not increase for you if you're already signed up. So it's never a bad time to sign up. If you have any questions about this, please send a message to me at How to Hardscape. And if you made it all the way this far and you've enjoyed this type of episode, I'm always looking for feedback. I don't often come in here myself to talk about certain things that I feel I have some sort of value to give back. You'll never hear me talk about things I don't have value to give back. For example, you'll never hear me talk about employees for now, because that's something that I have to work on in my business. But things that I have some sort of value to give back, this is where I like to sit down. But I always love hearing the feedback, as well as anything you disagreed on, anything you agreed on. Please shoot me a message at How to Hardscape. Let me know if you want to hear more talking about my experiences or less, and you prefer other people come on the show and I interview them. Any type of feedback, I will not take offense to anything. And if you are looking for a bookkeeper, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at Cycle CPA or at Cycle_CPA on Instagram. They've got a great page there with lots of value, as well as cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for $200 off their services there. And we look forward to meeting with you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.